Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Tangledeep Dawn of Dragons, where as you can see I have already gotten our new character up and running here. We are level 10. I got us through the second Duke Dirt Peak encounter, so we're to the second branching area. I figured at this point, first of all, you've all seen the early stuff enough, even the sort of mid-gamey stuff enough, and secondly, just so nobody's like blown away when it happens, the series is definitely drawn to a close. Like I would like to beat the last boss. I would like to show off some more of the class stuff, because we haven't seen all the classes yet, and there's some really cool class design things going on. But at the same time, I've been playing the same 4 games on the channel for quite a while now, and I'd like to rotate some fresh blood in, and this is the game that is closest to some kind of endpoint. So, fingers crossed that we suffer no more foolish deaths, that we can be successful here. Since the last time we released an episode, there has been a big patch aimed largely at reducing the amount of burst damage in the game. So clearly not just a concern that I was having. The developer also thinks things need to be toned down a little bit. Some of the more dangerous enemies had their damage tuned down. Some of the more dangerous things that appear on champions had their damage tuned down, in particular Ice Touched, because that Ice Shot ability can really does way too much damage. Hopefully it's a little bit more under control now. But another way that they hit the burst damage was they increased the effectiveness of the damage reduction traits that you can pick up on armor and shields. Things like arrow dampening, which reduces range damage, stuff like that, went from 33% reduction of its targeted damage type to 50%. So we're going to try to get some of that stuff going. I think that's going to help a lot. Let's talk about the character as she is built right now. We are currently a level 10 Husin, which is a terrible name for a class. The deal with the Husin is that we have this guy, this friendly runic crystal, who just sort of follows us around as we move. Anytime we are adjacent to our crystal, you can see we have this little buff reflected here. The crystal gives us 15% bonus damage and defense. That's pretty handy. In addition, we can shoot lightning. If we press the static field, it causes us and the crystal to drop lightning bolts on things that are adjacent to us. Obviously, lightning damage, very powerful. Our spirit power is not super high, but you get quite a few lightning bolts out of this. It's definitely worth pressing the button. We can basically hurl the crystal at people, which does a pretty significant amount of damage. Also, does not expend a turn. We have, of course, just like a standard movement ability, just go far in a straight line. We have a laser that we can shoot, and when we do it, our crystal also shoots a laser in the same direction. So we can use this to hit a double wide column of enemies, or hit one enemy twice if we're careful about our positioning. Gravity Surge, which pulls enemies into the crystal and then roots them, which is a good way for us to escape from getting murdered. And then Fortify allows us to feed some of our damage over into the crystal. So you can see there's a lot of defensive stuff going on with this character. We're also going to be using a one-handed weapon with a shield. I'm trying really, really, really hard to have functional defenses here. We're also using a whip so that we can scale our damage with swiftness. We're focusing on swiftness a little bit. We're going to take medium armor mastery again. So we're going to have good solid damage reduction. We're going to have the damage feed over from Fortify some portion of the time. You can't leave it up all the time because the crystal doesn't have enough health and it will just die. And then also we're going to have reasonable dodge. If this isn't enough to avoid lethal spike damage, I don't know what I'll do. So in addition to our very good Shadow Whip here, we also have an Electric Whip that's a little bit less good. We have, since we're swiftness scaling anyway, we have a bow for long range. We have this shield that is a loot. Doesn't seem like the best thing to use as a shield, but it's been doing the job so far. Only 25% block chance, 35% damage blocked. That means we're going to want to replace this with like even a lower rarity shield of a higher rank, probably fairly soon. But the thing where it confuses the attacker 100% of the time on block has been very, very handy. And then you can see nothing terribly special here, just some medium armor and some random gear. We don't really need 20 bonus points of discipline. I guess it's all defenses, right? These are terrible. We'll get some better equipment together. Right now, I have not yet been in terrible danger, so I haven't been focusing on it too much. but probably we should start building up some good gear a little bit earlier this run, just so that we can be getting XP from all the item dreams to help us survive a little bit better in the dungeon. Before we do any of that, though, I shouldn't have closed this, because rumors. We have received information that Pandora's box in the Stonehewn Halls has a purple for us. I think we ought to go find that. Also, we should probably get the skill orbs. That's in the Ancient Ruins. We need to go to Stonehewn 15, though. So I have this portal that goes to 13. I guess this is where we're going. Oh, our pet. I don't have our pet for some reason. Oh, you know what? No, wait, why don't I have our pet? I don't know. View monsters. Yeah, get our buddy. And he's already insured and everything. Yeah, I'm not actually sure why he would be, why he would have been put back in the pen. Because I definitely didn't do a class trial or anything, right? Do I have... Yeah, no, I don't have our emblem. I don't know why he ended up in the corral. Whatever. Doesn't much matter. Alright, so we just gotta make our way up to Stonehewn 15. Well, that seems like a pretty easy trip. So as you can see, I've been exploring around here a little bit. Basically, I was trying to cycle the casino. I have already found the casino this run, just to see if I could get an interesting weapon. I think the weapon we have is fine. Enemies seem reluctant to come fight me. Oh, I didn't talk about the rest of our abilities. You notice this very strange debuff here. We have an unusual group of passives because I started us off as a Boudica. I did that for two-finger catch, which gives us 25% total projectile resistance, which is awesome. And also Steel Resolve, which makes it so you cannot be critically hit. Again, focused reduction of spike damage. And then while I was a Boudica, I picked up these abilities to create vital points, or to mark vital points. So every time we attack an enemy, there's a chance they will become marked to take 15% bonus damage, and there's a chance that they will take a bleed. Basically what you're seeing there is the heart bleed from this, which causes 30% of our weapon power per turn. These are fine abilities. If you can hit an enemy with a Boudica ability after it has been vital pointed, something else happens. You can see, like, here it'll make the bleed worsen and spread it to other enemies. But unfortunately, most of the Boudica abilities that you can target enemies with require you to not have any weapons in your hands. So I didn't bother taking any of them except for Key Wave, which is a very high damage lightning ability with the restriction that it can only hit things that are exactly 3 tiles away from you in a straight line. So it's a little awkward to use, but I think we can, in fact, set off our pressure point thing with it. Yeah, see, that spread the bleed and made it worse. And then I'm just going to shoot at this guy with my bow for a while, I guess. He doesn't seem to have any interest in fighting me, which is very strange. Not sure what's up with that. Got ourselves a perfectly normal bullwhip. Okay. I have not found the elemental lair. We do not yet have our armor mastery. And then, of course, our buddy here, definitely not a person, is still tearing things up as much as you would expect. I still would like to breed a slightly fancier pet, but a water elemental makes a really good, just baseline helper. Let's check over here. Nope, can I not get over there? I have to go all the way around. Well, I suppose it's worth doing. We are climbing the dungeon probably a little bit faster than we're leveling up, which is part of the reason I want to try to do some side stuff. With us only being at level 10, I don't think we want to go dragon hunting yet, but I do, ideally, want to go dragon hunting. So he's very resistant to... he's only normal resistant to shadow, and he's not resistant at all to physical. We don't have a good normal physical weapon, but our whip, in addition to dealing shadow damage, does apply shadow vulnerability. We also have this Boudica stance we can turn on that kicks enemies away when they attack us. This will be useful for if we get like super swarmed. I don't know if it has the ability to set off the vital point things. I'm guessing no, because I think the wording on them is when you target an enemy with a Boudica ability, this thing gets worse. Hey, don't you run from me. Well, okay, hold on. Alright, there we go. Don't you run from me. So I have not been opening Pandora's boxes for the most part here. Again, just trying to do everything in my power to limit the burst damage. Go ahead and turn this on. But we'll obviously take the one for the item. Oh hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Let's just rocket charge. So you can see we can get quite a lot of lightning out of that lightning ability. Also, I'm taking a lot of damage here. What hit me so hard? Once again, the log is not super helpful. There is a more helpful log. Do I have some, like, makizushi or something? Just something we can eat quickly? Yeah. Just a quick instant restoration. Just so that we don't die in a really silly way here. Okay, good work, everybody. It is worth remembering with the whip. Not only is it a melee weapon, where the damage scales on swiftness, which is useful, it also deals damage to all enemies adjacent to the target. So that'll help us clean up areas as well. Okay, apparently he's content to just flee from us for the moment. Yeah, so in situations like this, where enemies are summoning tons of illusions, it can be very helpful. I will say they toned down the summoning traits of enemies. Illusionists and conjurers have longer cooldowns on their summons now. I really think a better way of dealing with that, and at this point we can just go up. I really think a better way of dealing with that would have been to make it so, like, instead of increasing their summon cooldown from like 12 turns to 18 turns, or it was something like that. I think it would have been nice to make it so that the summon ability only summons one thing, but has a 6-turn cooldown, or so, just so that the summoned enemies do not all have their cooldowns on the same cycle, you know? Because I think it'd be a lot less, they'd be a lot less likely to kill you out of nowhere if only one of the summons could pounce you each turn or each 2 turns. Basically, I think a lot of the systems of the game are really, really good. I just wish that the damage model was a little bit more incremental. I think you would have to change relatively little to make the game feel a little bit better to me, and maybe I'm the only person who has this problem. Maybe this is not like a majority experience, that this is an issue. How did he make my crystal bleed? Why is my crystal full of blood? Who put all this blood in here? Also, where did it come from? Whose blood is it? That seems bad. I know I was saying something, I've now gotten distracted, but I just realized that this thing following me around is full of somebody's blood. Alright, good work, everybody. So yeah, I'm really hopeful that we will find a better weapon. Oh, right, I was talking about damage models. It might be the case that I'm the only person who is having problems. It might be the case that everybody else is playing the game better than I am. But the fact that they just had to drop a patch trying to deal with some of the damage spikiness suggests that that is not the case, right? You know, there are people out there who probably enjoy more than I do the thing where the game gets to a point where you can't make any mistakes, where every single mistake is potentially lethal. That is definitely a style of gameplay that appeals to a certain kind of player. I want to be able to make, like... I want to have to make good decisions 80% of the time. I think that's where I'm at. I want to be able to make some mistakes and recover for them. It feels like I should not stand in this. I'm going to rocket pack my way out of here. Alright, let's toss my crystal... No, wait, sorry, that's summon. Let's toss my crystal at this guy. It's damage that doesn't cost a turn. It's great. And now that we've done that, we can static field. It'll start working on him, and then we'll just shoot this guy with our bow from safety for a while. And as we move around, the crystal generally tries to maintain the same relative position, but we can use the walls to break that up. And anytime the crystal can't maintain the same relative position, it tends to try to move toward us. So there are lots of good ways to recover your crystal positioning in combat without necessarily having to cast Crystal Shift again, which is awfully nice. Is this the only staircase up we found? Yeah, okay, there's no supplemental floors to head up to. What is your deal? I've not seen one like you for a long time. I am Ralja and Seal, humble wandering chef. Ooh, I do love recipes. No thanks, I hate food. Alright, chicken pot pie and charcuterie. The chicken pot pie I think is kind of a crummy food. I don't exactly remember what the charcuterie does. Meat, cheese, one additional meat or cheese. You know what? We'll try that out soon. My memory of it is that it's a buff food and not a healing food. And I generally find that I need to be eating healing food in dangerous situations too much, but you know, maybe I've developed an over-reliance on that. Okay, so the day advanced. We're just looking for Pandora's box. You guys remember the old myth? The story of Pandora's box, and they opened it, and all the fear and greed and whatnot came out, and then they were encouraged to look back in the gift, and there was one thing left behind. A totally sick, epic piece of equipment. Oh, feels like I shouldn't stand in that. So I do feel like we could probably afford to multi-class in another class. As you can see here, there's still quite a lot of space left on our bars. I do have the first whip mastery active skill and the first whip mastery passive. So we'll pick up another whip skill, but that still leaves a bunch of space on the bar. I'm not sure exactly what else we might want to do. We could go back to Wild Child and get the Panthox skin thing again, because I know it didn't save us last time, but it does seem very, very good. I think I'm going to try to go around here. I dislike this enemy already. So, Banisher, Frostspike, Hurricane. Okay, I'm definitely too low on health for this engagement. Let's fix that. We probably don't need to go super hard here. This'll do. Especially since the boss is getting torn apart by my pet. I'm gonna contribute, damn it. Oh, he tried to hit me and I blocked him with my loot. Still hit me for 129, though. There we go. See, I was capable of fixing it by myself. Let me just wait here until the spikes go away. I will say I'm a little bummed out about this good piece of loot being held by a Pandora's box rather than a monster, because at least the monsters come after me. Pandora's box, I have to, like, find it and not fail to realize that I've found it, which is kind of a tall order in my opinion. Okay, that's a straight line type attack. There we go. I got him to stop running. Oh yeah, also, just in case you don't remember, the thing that a whip does on crit is it effectively puts a bleed on the enemy. That's a useful enough critical effect. I don't know how that works with the multi-attack. Like, I don't know if a crit crits all of the enemies that you strike with it, or if there's if perhaps each enemy gets its own separate crit roll. If enemies aside from the main one can be affected by the bleed. I guess we can try to observe some answers to these questions. How dare you? Okay, I think we can probably just take some swiftness here. You can see I've already got a fair amount of discipline, although again we do have a 20 discipline piece of gear on, which is partially responsible. I don't even know what that was, but our pet killed it in a single hit. You know, he is slowly, over these multiple runs, leveling up. At some point, he's going to be able to just carry us through the entirety of the dungeon. So we got ourselves a Scroll of Frogs, which totally can be useful. It just summons a bunch of frogs, as you might expect. Look at that, we found it. With those epaulets. The most important thing about armor is how it can protect me from danger. How is a giant shoulder pad supposed to do that? Well, at least it looks cool. Apparently, Mirai has never played World of Warcraft. Alright, so... This is actually a piece of armor, not an equipment. I thought it was going to be one of those, because there are definitely shoulder armor pieces that go in those slots. It's okay. It's heavy armor. It does give plus 8% block chance, which is pretty cool. I think that we will maybe equip it for now. Plus 50 health. So our current vest is doing a little bit better against non-physical. Obviously way worse against physical. It does have all that dodge on it, though. 4% dodge and an additional 10% chance to dodge against abilities. I don't know. Maybe we'll just bank this. Also, we picked up a leather crop of deadly and beast slaying, which is not exactly English. So we could have it replace our secondary whip, because it is a different damage type than our primary. But I kind of like having a lightning weapon. I don't think I'm going to replace a lightning weapon with a physical weapon for a gain of only 20 power. And then from here, I mean, we may as well just go up to 16. I guess the question is, do you think we can take the boss at this point, right? Because if we can take the boss, we should just go up to 16. Sorry, after we finish this floor. I might want to step out and do some other stuff. Well, we'll do a couple of item dreams. I was kind of hoping that those vortex epaulets were going to turn out to be an accessory that we actually wanted to wear, so that they would make a good thing to level up. But no such luck. Oh hey, we may as well do buried loot while we're here. I will say this is a little bit tedious to interact with. It would be kind of nice if there was a way to just like, and now that I'm saying it, I wonder if there is a way to set it so that if you press against a wall twice while you're holding the shovel, while you're holding at least one shovel, it spends a shovel and digs the wall out. You probably wouldn't want it to happen. Oh, hey, that was fast. You probably wouldn't want it to happen with just a single press. Lucky Hide Shield of Treasures. Oh, you know what? There's no way. It's going to be better than ours. Never mind. I don't even need to look at that. So, lightning immune. Do not stand in the water while fighting him. Very resistant to shadow. That's a real shame, because that's our weapon damage types are represented there. Our bow does do physical damage. And then also we have this guy, who can just solve the problem by himself. Never mind. Not even really a problem. Alright, so we want to go down and left. Except that I don't actually want to go up yet. Alright, let's head back to town. We're going to talk about some alternate advancement methods. Also, a day passed, so we might be able to get some new stuff here. A banana bunch loving guardian lurker. Do not use your flask before completing this. It hoards banana bunches. Well, that's a fair amount of job points there. I think we should probably do this. It's the abandoned facility 2F. And I've already forgotten the floor. Was it Ancient 13? Yes, Ancient 13. Okay, so we have a couple of reasons to go there. That's a method of advancement. You know what might be a good idea is checking to see if we've gotten any new yellow quality tree seeds, because we probably have. I've probably died with some in my inventory a couple of times, actually. Let's see here. Seed. Okay, we have a flowering spice bark we could plant. Let's go do that. So what do we have around here? I mean, yeah, I'll just pull down the blue spice bark for a yellow one. That's fine. Okay. Simple enough. Hold on, what were the crafting recipes again? No, sorry, I wanted to just talk to you about recipes. Three common weapons gets you a weapon of a different type. So there's not really a way to... Yeah, there's not really a way to craft a weapon of a specific type. I was wondering if there was a formula in here for, like, turning something, almost any group of things, into a weapon of a type of a selected rank or something. It would be really nice if there was a way to just like get a hold of a rank 7 whip, you know? Let's see if the casino has new stock. It does not. So I guess let's, Desert Oasis does. Sometimes Ruby Moon has some really powerful equipment on her. And then, of course, we can unload some of our stuff here and see if she will make it very powerful. Okay, this stuff is not compelling. Hey, Ruby, here's all of my unequipped garbage. Okay, she didn't turn anything into anything interesting. Bullwhip of Elemental Bolts. When using a damaging elemental skill, 33% chance to hit a random enemy for 75% of spirit power. I mean, I like that it's a rank 5. Damaging elemental skill. So we have Photon Blast, or the Photon Cannon. The damage dealt by... Damage dealt by Crystal Shift is physical. Yeah, Key Wave is elemental. It's not a thing we can do very often, though. Yeah, I don't think that is worth taking. What am I doing? Walking around here. Let's fast travel back to the branch. Yeah, this one. Alright, the Ancient Ruins. Haven't really spent any time on this side, you know, on account of the way I feel about the Ancient Ruins. Finding a bunch of the lowest quality gear is not really changing my opinion. It felt a little bit like the game was trying to apologize there. I said, you know, how I feel about the Ancient Ruins. Oh, no, that's right. Sorry, eat something. I didn't even notice how low my health was until we actually got down here. The hell did my pet go? Hey, buddy, come to me immediately. Does kind of feel like he's just wandering off lately. Is there a way I can wander around me? No, I guess he must be set properly already. I would assume that the other setting on that is, hey, don't go anywhere. Then again, it might just be, you know, the way this area is. So we found the magma chamber. Not a lot to be gained by going into the magma chamber, except, of course, for job points, which is to say that we are definitely doing it. Honestly, a shadow ring might be night ring, I believe they're called. A shadow damage ring might be really nice for us, since our primary weapon deals shadow damage, although I don't think we have any skills that do. Alright, well, our pet will keep that guy busy forever. I probably shouldn't just walk into the big spinning blades, huh? Well, he is non-stop with the area damage. Stop fleeing. He is, for some reason, desperately trying to kill my crystal. You know what? I really wanted to just step back and key wave there, but he's making it very difficult. Could we, by any chance? There we go. Well, that was an unfortunately very clear description, or very clear depiction of how important our pet's damage is to our overall output. I'm gonna not finish exploring the floor. I think let's just move up to the next floor, get this rumor dealt with so that we have access to our flask again, and then we can come back and explore a little bit. Alright, the abandoned facility. That is indeed what we are looking for. Also, wow, look at all the enemies. Look at all of the champions all of a sudden. Oh, I cannot use Crystal Shift without a runic crystal. That's fair. At some point, my runic crystal got murdered. So we're not supposed to do anything about Mad Dog Jesse Kisaragi except kill him, right? Yeah, okay. Very straightforward. He will give me a skill orb that is relevant to my situation, I am told. Let's... I don't know if I want to turn on Fortify. Our crystal died immediately upon meeting these guys. I managed to stick him in place, which means I have a moment to step out of all this garbage. I think I should probably Crystal Shift here. Yep, right through that guy. Just to get my crystal out of harm's way. Okay. That wasn't so bad. And then we have an upgraded Guardian Seeker on top of it. And also, the Greatest Dane. Imagine the size of him. That seems bad. Let's maybe not stand in that. Boy, it is just 100% champions all of the time here, huh? Ooh, an elixir. That's the thing I want. I guess... Static field is an okay thing right now. I'm a little worried about all this damage. It's rough combined with the fact that we don't have access to our flask. Well, we don't actually have a lot of movement abilities right now. So I kind of just have to walk out of this the old-fashioned way. It feels like maybe this is a situation where I want to eat a pretty hearty meal. We're going to be standing in this fire for a second until I open up a spot. I kind of can't believe that our runic crystal survived as long as it did. Okay. So an elixir is exactly what you would think it is if you have played many JRPGs. Just an instant full heal. Oh, I should probably have a crystal up. You know, 15% damage and everything. One of the few ways they seemed to buff enemies based on the patch notes that I saw, that the poison cloud that a lot of enemies leave behind has been improved in effectiveness. Oh wait, that's right. I was gonna take up some stairs up over here. I don't want to touch this. I think my conclusion was that you earn job points fast enough as it is. It was like the primary reason I was interested in taking the Pandora's boxes in the first place was to get more job points more quickly. So without the Pandora's boxes, you still get a lot of points, but you also survive long enough to get more points, to get points from a larger number of sources. And given that the difference in learning rates isn't even really that big, it's like what each Pandora's box you open is like 100 or 200 skill points. Not really missing out on that much by not taking them. And once again, I'm hoping that not having taken a bunch of Pandora's boxes will help enough with the burst damage. Seems like a fine time for a static field since everything around here is a robot and everything. I don't suppose we have to be this thorough, but you know, I'm going to try to reduce the amount of side stuff that I have to do by just being semi-diligent. I don't want anybody to over prepare themselves. We're not going to get all the way to diligent, but I'm aiming for like 60% of diligent. 0.6 diligence units. I believe this is one that has 3 floors, right? Oh, that's a... Well, problem is strong. It's definitely a thing that's happening. Yeah, it seems like a fine time for a static field. And then, here we go. This is an okay opportunity for a photon charge. So you can see the second beam aimed from the crystal just goes whatever direction I'm aiming. So if we shoot up here... It's pretty good. He's probably a little frustrated at how much effort he put into summoning all these illusions just for them to break down immediately. I would be. You would like a banana bunch. I mean, I know we have a whole bunch. One entire bunch of bunches. So our other rumor was just to fight that gang of dudes. I suppose we go back and check in and see if there's another rumor for us. I'm also noticing that we have an awful lot of job points, so this might be a good time to finish off our mastery. Tarkus-type Guardian Arachnoid owns a powerful item. Get the ceiling-penetrating knife for some more job points. Okay, sure, I'll do that. Also, there is a Guardian Seeker. Okay, I can handle that as well. That's a pretty decent reward. Please give me... I was hoping for one more quest that doesn't require us to leave the floor of the dungeon that we are currently doing. Alright, about weapon masteries. What do I have left here on the path of whip mastery? Finesse, a passive skill. Armed with this technique, your whip gains additional crit chance when striking multiple targets. Oh, that seems useful. Absolutely give me the free passive. And then the last one only costs 1,000, right? I do love ultimate techniques. Strike an adjacent enemy, creating an instant shockwave that grows in size and damage the farther it gets from you. Okay, that sounds cool. Apparently you don't need to defeat that many champions to earn the the right to have an ultimate technique. So the other whip passive that we already had was whips have a 20% chance to paralyze enemies for 3 turns, and remember, paralyze means can't use your basic attack. Definitely a powerful thing. Very useful to be able to deny enemies the chance to even try to hit you. So the first strike is 150% damage. Okay. This seems easy enough. And we don't have any restrictions on our flask anymore yet. Alright. Yeah, so let's just get in there, kill everybody, try not to take so much damage. Actually, it was very convenient that both of the rumors were on the floor of the dungeon that we were already on. Sometimes it does feel like the game is trying to ingratiate itself with me. Apparently our pet did that thing. Like, it can sense that I get mad at it, and it's, oh no, please. Please, I just want to be loved, which makes me feel terrible. Oh yeah, I gotta remember, our runic crystal does not heal like our pet does. It's not a big deal because they're so trivial to resummon. But it does make me feel bad every time I let it die, which is very silly. It's, you know, it's that same whatever it is in the human brain that makes the companion cube work. This poor thing was under my protection, and I failed it. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about there, the companion cube is a thing from Portal, where it's a puzzle game, and it's about like moving physics objects around a lot. And one puzzle involved moving a weighted cube from one place to another so that it could be put on a button. And they found in playtesting, this is the story I've heard anyway, I do not vouch for its veracity. They found in playtesting that they were having a lot of trouble getting players to take the cube with them. People would just they would see the cube and they would just wander off. And the area you had to go through was pretty large. They'd wander off, they'd get to the end of the thing, and then need the cube and be like, ah, man, that really sucks, and have to go all the way back and get it, and then come all the way back to the button. Ooh, swiftness. So the way they solved the problem was, sort of jokingly, they put little hearts on the cube. And they found that that was enough. All of a sudden, people were like developing an attachment to it enough to get them to just be like, even without knowing mechanically why it should go with them, enough of a connection that people wanted to take it on a little adventure. Ooh, a glowing night ray. Might be worth equipping, actually. And then once that was the case, they decided to have some more fun with it. So what happens with the cube in the game is a little bit more devious than that. So plus 15% shadow damage dealt. We lose 10 discipline for 10 max energy. I think I really like plus shadow damage dealt, though. And this is the sort of thing that we could go into and level up. And in fact, maybe that's exactly what we go do right now. I actually like that idea quite a bit. Also, we are killing it on job points. Holy crap. Maybe this would be a good time to do a class trial. Or a job trial. So yeah, let's go back to town. And level up our new ring a little bit. And also, I guess, talk to people. I just purchased whatever was in her top inventory slot. Whatever, it was probably good. That's why you put it at the top, right? Okay, you have not refreshed your food supply. I should have known, because it does not say new over your head. The thing is, sometimes I forget to check. It's like if it had said new over his head last time. Ooh, casino restocked. We should also go check this out. A Razorhorn Ward. Oh, that's an interesting shield. 30% block chance, 50% damage blocked. Poison melee attackers. Melee attackers take 33% of your weapon damage as physical. Not blocking adds 20%. Wow, and also crit chance. I like this quite a bit. 180 tokens. That's harsh, but I like it a lot. We would lose 10 swiftness, which does matter, because actually swiftness is both a defensive and offensive stat for us. We would lose flat physical reduction, but you block with this thing all the time, because of its stacking block chance. And when you do successfully block, you do a whole bunch of damage. I want it. 180 tokens. We can make 180 tokens happen super fast. I mean, I'm just gonna mash on the dice button here. In theory, the expected value of playing any of these cash levels is approximately the same. So I guess let's do the 10k. It's a little spiky and it makes me nervous. But, okay, we got 100 tokens. Okay. Problem solved. I don't know who keeps saying this game's hard. This game's easy. Alright, so let's equip this in my offhand. I'm going to hold on to the loot shield for right now because we might want to level up the Razorhorn Ward, or we might want to at least like find a relevant Lucid Orb. There are definitely defensive traits I would like to apply to this thing. But I think that is a pretty solid upgrade right there. That's exactly why you want to find the casino early, so that you get the maximum number of opportunities to do stuff like that. So, let's have a look at what level our equipment would be if we took it into the dream. Mostly the stuff that we're currently wearing. I gotta bank some things. Alright, our Bullwhip would be easy enough to level up. Guaranteed plus 30 power, plus also we can throw some gold at it to get some additional traits. The Razorhorn Ward is not a thing we want to go into soon. And you'll notice the affinities here. Different weapons, based on the traits that they already have different modifiers, basically, that get placed on the world within them. So here, stronger monster melee attacks. Here, more and stronger champions, lots of crit chance. There's lots of bandits in there. If we were to upgrade this, it would just give it +5 stamina, +5 energy. But also we could get additional traits on it. Let's maybe... Yeah, if we can't increase the amount of actual damage it lets off, or it gives us, I wonder if it's worth doing this right now. We could just do the bullwhip. The bullwhip is going to be pretty easy to go through. We have other whips. We have one, another whip in our hand already. Let's check out our lucid orbs. So first of all, in the bank we have lucid orbs and skill orbs, obviously. That's a book only thing. Skill orb for a skill we don't have. Air traps, firebomb, runic crystal. The runic crystal no longer gives the passive 15% attack defense buff. Instead, it builds runic charges when damaged or moved and unleashes a burst of energy at 5 charges. Boy, I sure wish that this had any information on what unleashes a burst of energy means. It could be an attack, could be a buff and an attack. Plus gold for monsters is basically like nothing. We still have a lot of lucid orb shards. Sadly, we have not put together enough shards of anything to turn them into a real orb. Well, I guess we don't really have a lot of compelling stuff in here. What about in my inventory? Search orb. Gravity Surge. No longer roots targets, but gains range and debuffs their lightning resistance. That is actually interesting. Crystal Shift deals more damage and boosts the runic crystal's defenses briefly. Oh, it's purely positive. Most of them are not purely positive. And this reduces damage from melee, but increases damage from ranged. I think that probably we don't want to increase incoming range damage. That seems dangerous. But yeah, like let's go put Crystal Shift on our whip. And maybe we'll never see a better whip. Maybe we will see a better whip, and I'll be sad I spent my orb. But I think it's a good idea to start leveling up our gear. So... And we certainly have some job points we can throw at this, right? Nope. The Dream Dragon. I am not ready for a Dream Dragon. I am ready to loot this treasure chest near the Dream Dragon, though. I do really like the Husin skill set. I'll say this, I do not like the name. It is definitely a very Japanese video game kind of name. I don't even know what it's supposed to be an abbreviation of, but that's... If you're not familiar with why I might say that. Because Japanese uses a syllabary rather than an alphabet, they abbreviate words by syllable rather than by letter, obviously. So it's probably like Husin is probably the abbreviation for like human synthetic. If you've seen people, like for example, talking about Monster Hunter Online, that's why it gets abbreviated as Monhun instead of MH in a lot of circles. People who are into Monster Hunter are also invariably into anime. That's what I'm blaming that on. Hello, terrifying tentacle man. Also probably very into anime. Anime gets a bad rap, and I have a lot of fun playing with that. I mostly don't actually have any negative feelings about anime, but I do think it's a funny thing to keep prodding, and then I get yelled at by people who are like, "Hey, there's nothing wrong with anime, man. I don't want to have a whole conversation with you about this. If you are upset about the things I say about anime, please know. I apologize immediately. I don't mean any of this stuff. I'm just trying not to be boring on the internet. And as we all know, trying not to be boring on the internet is where almost all horrible things just sort of spill out of people's mouths. You know what? This seems like a good opportunity for a photon cannon. One of these. I mean, I don't need to crystal shift this too hard. I'm just going to shift it to right there. And then when I moved, it moved so that it wasn't even hitting everybody anymore. I'm just walking around using my bare hands for combat, and I don't even notice because of how good my pet is. For real though, this thing where whips hit all enemies adjacent to the thing you target is really, really powerful. Alright, can we maybe actually kill him? There we go. Probably people realize that I don't really have a problem with anime, because I did release that video not that long ago talking about how maybe Fooly Cooly saved my life. It's not entirely impossible that that's a real thing that actually happened. We probably shouldn't just like run around and like it's probably not worth the time to run around in here. When we find the stairs, we should probably just take them. But like, think of all the tiny bits of gold that are always laying around. What would I do if I didn't get every 157 gold payout? I'll tell you what I'd do. I still have effectively infinite money. I do think that's a thing that could stand to be messed with a little bit. The game economy is really screwed up. Like, I haven't taken any money out of the bank on this character, and we just threw 20,000 gold at the gambling table, and I still have 50k. I can't even really imagine how you would spend all this gold aside from gambling. I guess if you use the Dream Machine enough... Oh, there's a Nightmare Prince. I would like to just get the upgrade to our thing here and get out. We'll engage with the Nightmare Prince some other time. Obviously, since this is not even the first time we've seen a Nightmare Prince in this series, they're not that rare. I guess we could leave this crystal active. Well, this is getting to be kind of a lot of blades and stuff all over the place, and I don't even really want to move out of the way because I don't want to stand in the... goop. Can I not move? Okay, there we go. It was weird. It wouldn't let me move for a second there. Okay, things are getting a little bit out of control at the moment. Where's my crystals? Right there. It's not totally ideal. It's not in a position where I can easily photon cannon multiple things. Where did he... Is that him up there now? Yeah. Why don't we crystal shift him... Well, you know what I hate is all these glowing areas on the map that are not part of my ability range. So it's so hard to tell where I am allowed to go. Okay. Good work. Definitely not a person. You know what? This might be a good time for a sonic boom. Okay, so that's the sonic boom. I guess it kind of looks like a purple version of Guile's sonic boom. That makes sense. So it's just going to expand outward and do more and more damage. Static Field is the name of this ability. Doesn't look like it did any damage. Unfortunately, stuff is scrolling so quickly by. I hit for 100 with it that turn. I don't know. That seems okay, I guess. That's fine. If the initial thing is an ability that has no cost and deals 150 damage when you lay it down, it doesn't really have to do anything else to be good, right? I'm very concerned about the amount of garbage that is happening on our tile right now. We need another movement ability. It is possible. I think looking more possible every moment that we should go into another class. I'm just going to go ahead and hit this because our pet's starting to take kind of a lot of damage. There's too many damn illusions and stuff going on here. And summoned frogs and whatnot. Let's... What is going to be the right move here? I don't even see my... Okay, my runic guy is down there somewhere. You can see when I turn the ability in this direction. So where's the actual enemy? Is this... That's my guy. Everything's vulnerable, which suggests that it is not the real enemy. Yeah, this guy's the memory king too. So we can't just go around. We do have to fight him. I wish I had a little bit better skill AoE, you know? I'm gonna eat... Is that a fruit bowl? I'm gonna eat something to try to get my pet some health back. It doesn't need to be immediate. You know what? Maybe it does. He's pretty low. Okay. Some of the... Okay, this is the real thing, right here. Nope, that's definitely not a person. I saw resistant, and I was like, okay, we found him. Never mind, I have no idea where he is. That's him up there. That's the real one. The fake ones don't get the barriers either, so it's actually not that hard to tell. I really hate this enemy, though. This is terrible. My crystal blew up. This is an okay time to resummon. And then shift it to here. And from there, static field. Are you weak against lightning? You are, yes. You have no resistance to lightning. This is the only damage type you are not resistant at all to. Man. We just don't have enough damage output to kill all these things, though. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, the combination of Illusionist and Summoner really sucks. Let's Crystal Shift through it again. We can't do the thing again, but we can. Photon Cannon now. Which hits one enemy down there and him up there. And okay, we're getting somewhere. Some of them are starting to break down. I'm going to Tornado Stance to get rid of those guys if they attack me. I feel like whenever my attacks are really critical to land, I end up getting parried. Seems to happen a lot, actually. Sonic Boom him. And then Rattlesnake doesn't make a ton of sense to do here because he's not even in the line that I can hit with Rattlesnake. Slap that through him, hit the static field again. It's working, right? Slowly but surely. There we go. Alright, we popped him. But of course, he dropped my loot over there in the void. Let's kill this gold frog first. I mean, eventually. Let's slowly work toward killing this gold frog. Alright, we got our thing. Bullwhip plus of Darkness, Companions, and Crystal Shift. Where the hell did that gold frog go? He disappeared up here somewhere, right? Oh, that's impassable. Why can't I move up? Okay. For some reason, the gold is real. Many things about this experience are dreamlike, except for the gold. So I'm not 100%... I think we still get the power up. Even though we were adding a skill mod rather than the other types of stuff. Let's see here. 282. Yeah, 282 is upgraded, right? I feel pretty good about that. That's a really nice item. Spend 3 energy for plus 20% damage with your basic attacks. Crystal Shift deals more damage. Is that reflected in the tooltip? Can we know how much more damage? Yeah, 140 instead of 125. So it's not a huge buff, but it's still more damage. And it's more damage on a thing we do all the time because, first of all, it's useful for positioning effect, and secondly, it doesn't cost time. So how many job points does that leave us with? Enough to do one job trial. We get our emblem at least. And those are pretty easy. So this guy sells magic. I mean, we may as well take a job change scroll. Frost Scale Spirit Linked Mithril Shirt of Loyalty and Dragons. I love it when things are of loyalty and dragons. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't look all that great. except for 15% dodge. I do like that. Minus 30% damage from range, but plus 5% from melee. That's, That's better, but it's because it's light armor rather than medium. I still don't think we want to go to it. A Night Ring of Explosions and Cunning. We don't really need the Guile. And honestly, I don't use consumable items all that much. Maybe I should. Yeah, I don't think we want any of Kai's stuff here. That's weird. Didn't it say new over her head? Was I imagining? Maybe I was imagining that. Alright, let's buy some basics from you. And then we'll go ahead and do this job trial real quickly here. So we're going to have to rearrange things a little bit. Turn off all 4 of these. And also Entangle and also Finesse. Explosive Block is, I believe... Yeah, Explosive Block is associated with our class. We can leave that on. It's weird that it's not the same color as the other stuff from our class, though. You can see why I was confused. And then we may as well turn on Auto Barrier and Hazard Sweep, which are the passives from this class. So I don't think this is very good. This requires you to just walk onto a thing that's going to deal you damage and hope that you hit the 1 in 3 chance that it gets deleted. It seems like you would almost never want to do this. And then Auto Barrier is just you block the first attack of each combat effectively. Really, really doesn't seem worth a support slot to me. Alright, let's do it. First job trial is always nice and easy. Destroy the crystals. Try not to die. I appreciate the enemies mostly focusing on the crystal. Seems pretty good, actually. It's not super cheap to resummon it, but ours is hardy enough that we probably don't have to worry about running out of them through attrition, which is definitely a thing that can sometimes be a problem in a class trial. Wow, this guy is tough. I mean, do we want to do anything fancy here? Not really, right? Ooh, probably not standing in that. That's a fancy thing I could get down with. And then we may as well just hit him again, because he was definitely going to die. Rocket Charge. Well, managed to put myself in some different lava, so that's fun. And are there really going to be no crystals over here, too? Ow. Aha! It is remarkably easy for me to hold down the button for just a moment too long and end up in some lava. I have no idea what our class emblem does, by the way. It's possible that the ability won't even really be worth anything, but I trust that the free stats will be. Hard to argue with a slot in your inventory that used to be empty suddenly becoming not empty, right? So what was that? 2? What am I doing? I should just resummon my crystal. Get him, Crystal. Oh, I don't have the energy for that. Never mind. Let him get you, Crystal. Apparently, monsters remaining 1. We're gonna end up killing every single enemy on the map before we even find the 3rd crystal. I mean, at this point, we may as well, right? Did I miss it somewhere? I mean, I must... Oh, there's an area that I didn't actually go behind over here. I gotta say, this feels like maybe the worst job I've ever done at Phase 1 of a job trial. not really as complicated as I'm making it look there. Plus 12% lightning damage, or your crystal gains 20% health. That's... I mean, it's gotta be this, right? Yeah. Makes me wish that we had lightning damage on our whip, but we still have some good sources of lightning. And that does kind of make me wonder about going back Wild Child and learning that Lightning Storm ability and picking up Panthox skin, and you know, I think there's something there. There's an idea there. For right now, let's go ahead and just throw on this thing, and then remember to fix our passives. All 4 of these. 3% crit chance per target attacked. That's pretty cool, actually. Especially since it, you know, then stacks on the bleed in addition to the other normal crit damage. It's not a bad weapon type. Part of the reason that I wanted to use whips for this run was that I'd never seen the masteries before, since the whips are a new weapon with this expansion. Alright, well, I think that is maybe a good place for us to stop for today. We have a solid foundation for this character. I thought that about the last 2, so I guess I don't have any elaboration to do, because everything I say might be terribly wrong. At this point, y'all are used to that, though, right? Come back next time, tomorrow, for murder. We're going to kill all of the robots. Is it murder if they're robots? Come back next time for robot killing, and we'll see you then.